Steve Levy is celebrating 25 years as a SportsCenter anchor. First day with ESPN was August 1st, 1993, hosting the 11 o'clock show on Thursday with Keith Olbermann, and Kenny Mayne will drop by as well. A tribute to Steve's ESPN career will be part of the show.
Really?
Well, that's what it says.
Yes, it must be true.
So how are they paying tribute to you?
I really don't know. Where's my one shot, by the way, Dan? Where am I looking?
You're
exactly?
looking. No, the camera finds you, Steve.
Oh, okay.
The camera finds you.
And the prompter is.
There's no prompter.
Whoa,
here.
you know we can't do this without a prompter. Honestly, all they asked me, Mike McQuaid, our old pal, came to me and said, what do you want to do? And I said, I imagine if you think about my 25-year career, the top of the list, unfortunately, when you Google me is the bulging thing. Google it, kids.
So you don't even do disc.
I'm afraid of it, man. I'm still afraid.
So you just do bulging thing.
Dan, it was one letter. It was a little letter.
Okay.
And so,
but you're going to be hosting with Olbermann.
So I figured we would show it, and they asked me, yeah, it'd be funny if Keith was there.
Yeah, because he was there the night of bulging disc.
The whole thing is your fault. You know that, right?
I know.
Okay.
I had the night off. Okay.
Yes.
Can we do the oral history of bulging disc here?
Okay.
All right.
So you take the night off.
Yeah, I took the night off.
Did you have a good excuse? Like, really? Was it a last-second thing? I can't remember.
I think my wife may have had a baby.
All right, so that's important. We'll give you that one.
Okay, so once again, I tune in.
Yeah. You're watching.
And I tune in and see Olbermann take his I think Keith takes his glasses off. He's crying. Yeah. He's laughing so hard. And I go, oh, my God, Keith just melted down. And then they go to you.
Yeah.
And you guys can't keep it together.
Yeah.
Okay, so set up bulging disc.
Right.
This is the last time we're ever going to bring this up.
Good.
And then we have the audio that we can play. And then this is it.
So this is 3 years in, I think. So 96 is my recollection of this. It's Maurice Hurst of the Patriots. And so you're off that night. And it's still the times I got to co-host with you or Keith were very, very intimidating. But this was Monday night. And this was a big deal because we would welcome everyone who watched Monday Night Football on ABC. We go to break after the game's over. Hey, welcome those here. This is SportsCenter, blah, blah, blah. And we go through a rip of injuries from Sunday's games. And Maurice Hurst of the Patriots is suffering from a bulging disc in his neck. And again, it really wasn't the prompter's fault. I typed it correctly into the prompter, and I make the mistake. And then I really kept it together for quite some time, and we are in video of career-ending injuries to other people, and then we start to lose it. And Keith is really no help, and I'm really trying to keep it together. And the behind-the-scenes story that I don't think was told. So Mike McQuaid, we have
Mike McQuaid was the producer of SportsCenter
at the time, right?
Yeah.
Now he oversees all SportsCenter. Yeah. So there was a figure skating story to come out of this, which my guess is probably belonged to Keith. He would do the next story. It was the death of a figure skater. Okay?
Oh, boy.
So in our industry, when a story goes away, we put it down later in the show, we say, kill it.
Yeah.
So kill the figure skater, right, is what McQuaid says, meaning we're not going to do that story. Well, that everybody cracks up over again. She's already dead, right?
Yeah.
So we can't handle that. The cameras are shaking. Keith is doing his thing, and Keith has the line, which is, Steve, do we have any video of that?
I thought it was, thank God we don't have video of that.
Maybe along those lines, yeah. And so everybody loses it again. I mean, the cameras are shaking, And Dan, I really thought I was going to get fired. I really did. It was such a big deal, and I'm walking out of the studio, and people are carrying tapes, under both arms. I had 50 voicemails by the time I got back to my desk from prominent national broadcasters who I've never met before. And then I got a call from Norby the next day, and I thought this was your fired call.
So Norby is your boss.
Yeah.
The head of SportsCenter.
Right. And he says, hey, that's some of the funniest television I've ever seen. Keep up the great work. And I swear to God, to this day, once a month, someone will approach me and say, hey, you're the bulging disc guy. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Guess I am. Got to be known for something.
Here's how it played out that night.
And now the agent for Hurst has come out and said he will file a grievance against the Patriots that, according to NFL rules, the club should not have been able to release his client because he was injured. The agent claims that at the request of the team, Hurst has been playing with a bulging disc in his neck since the start of the season. The Patriots spokesperson declined comment on the matter. Others that are banged up from around the NFL. Jeff Hostetler re-injured his left shoulder.
Downhill from here.
By Chad Hennings late in the first half of the Cowboys.
Oh, there's more.
Games. Status to be addressed on Wednesday. Giants quarterback Dave Brown left in the fourth quarter after having the wind knocked out of him in the game against the Eagles. As far as the Lions quarterback is concerned.
Not bad, though, right?
No,
considering.
you're holding on.
Sprained right ankle.
There you
when
go.
Jim Flanagan rolled into him, status is day to day.
Now you're in trouble.
Eagles quarterback.
Keith in the background.
You said it. Suffered a bruised hip flexor in the first half of Sunday's Eagles-Giants game. Did not return. He's expected to be back Sunday against the Redskins. Mike Mamula, his teammate, suffered a dislocated left shoulder. He's expected to miss 2 weeks. Jaguars quarterback Mark Brunell on this fine play, running into the end zone for a touchdown. Straightened his right hamstring. Status uncertain. Man, there is nothing wrong with these injuries. This is not funny. This is serious stuff. Finally, the Bengals, James
Not
Francis,
funny at all.
broke a bone in his lower left leg. Francis out for the year. My apologies. Not laughing at the injured.
Not laughing at the injured.
Sorry. Other injuries, thank you. Other injuries without the pretty picture. Strickland knee. Jones, the Cowboys' leading tackler, groin. Minter, shoulder. Lockman, foot sprain. And the ankle sprain. And thanks for your help, Keith. Something wrong, perhaps? All right, now to the haven of college sports where...
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So fast forward to, we're so old, Maurice Hurst's son playing at Michigan last year. Actually, the last couple of years. And I had been begging my producers, like, if we get in a Michigan blowout, we saw a ton of Harbaugh the last few years. And I've said, we had it loaded. And we finally, I begged my producer, Bo Garrett at the time. And he finally, after Mo Hurst Jr. makes a sack, says, all right, fine, let's do it here. We roll it in. And the kicker is Maurice Hurst Jr. on Twitter tweets at me and goes, my mom never told me about my dad. Bulging, and there you have it.
Discs.
Yeah.
You're a good sport.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're a good sport. Well, what was your first job in sports?
I was the Jets reporter, WNBC Radio in New York. And I always tell you, I'm one of the luckiest guys. I never had to leave home, right? And I was prepared to leave home. The Binghamton Rangers would not hire me for $7,000 a year and room on the road with a bus driver. And I tried to get that job.
Play-by-play?
Yeah. Right out of Oswego, I tried to get it. And, I was like 5th on the list. I couldn't believe it. I was really bothered. Again, the rooming with the bus driver, my mom had an issue with that at that point. And again, they still didn't give me the job. So I had a connection, Dave Sims, Mike Breen. There was the Jets report. And it was a 2-minute taped report out at Hofstra at the time when the Jets trained. And I made that my full-time job, right? I mean, I spent 8 hours in the media room at Hofstra for a taped, 2-minute piece every day. And, maybe I got $50 a day or something like that. But that's kind of what we do. That's how we all did it, I was in the NFL, man, right? Coming out of college, even if it was 2 minutes a day on a flamethrower of a radio station. So,
when that first day you got to ESPN,
yeah,
what were you thinking?
I was thinking, wow, I was such a New York City person, right? And here I am in Bristol, and the night before my first show, it's a Tuesday night, and I go to the local movie theater. This is unbelievable. I am the single only person in the theater. This is no exaggeration. And I think they're not going to show it. Why would they show it? They'll give me my money back, and I'll go about my business. And
what'd you see?
I don't remember the movie. It's the back of my mind. So the guy taps on the glass, Dan. Are you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. And they showed the movie. But, there was no easy starting place then, right? ESPN2 hadn't started. There was no ESPN News. There was no ESPN Radio. There was no .com, obviously, none of that. So when you started, you really started on SportsCenter. And that was, obviously before LA. That was the 2 a.m. Eastern 30-minute show. And I'm amazed that we got every score in. Can you imagine that? We got every single score in, and now we'll do a 90-minute Sunday night show, and we get half the games in maybe because we're doing so many other things. But I was definitely nervous. I looked at the wrong camera the entire lead-in for my first show. So Ravitch is the veteran at the time. I think he's there 3 months before me.
Yeah.
And he welcomes me. And in those days where we started with a lead-in, you do the 2-shot, look down, boom, go to your camera. So I look down and I don't go to my camera. So I did the whole lead in on a 2-shot with Ravitch staring at me. And McQuaid's in my ear going, 1, meaning turn to 1.
Turn to camera 1.
Look left, look right, look anywhere other than where you're looking right now. But it's been ridiculous. Best seat in sports, man, you know.
There was a lot of talented people came through there, and it could be intimidating. It could be very competitive.
No question.
And it was survival of the fittest. Aside from bulging disc, did you ever have any like great moments or anything that stood out?
So I've been fortunate, right? The hockey thing was really fortunate to me. It's a fluke. It wasn't a skill. I happened to be in the right place at the right time. I've done the 3 longest televised games ever. So that became a thing, right? And again, there's nothing about that. It's just lucky to be in that right spot. We went to Camp Arif, John, which was really cool. We took the show on the road for a week with Stuart and Kenny. And, it was at a time where it wasn't politically charged. It was like, we weren't about either side. We were there to try to comfort, give a slice of Americana to the brave men and women in uniform at the time. And to see the smiles on their faces for us being there. And the most awkward thing was it's a thank you fest, right? They're thanking us for coming, right? And we're like, no, we thank you. We're here for you to make them smile. And so we got there the first night, and they were lined up, and they set up this giant hall. And it was for an NFL preseason game. Based on the time difference, it worked out perfectly. And they were just so happy for any kind of normalcy.
Yeah.
And, they had non-alcoholic beer, right? And popcorn and signs and cheering for their team, whatever. It was just, I don't think I could do anything else at ESPN that will ever top that.
Did you anchor with everybody? Berman, myself, Keith, Stuart?
So yeah, I think so.
Kilborn, did you?
Yeah, Kilborn, sure. But it was intimidating. You mentioned that. We all came in. I tell people this. It takes a while. It's like in sports. The game slows down. The baseball turns into a beach ball, that kind of thing, and slows down for you. It was intimidating coming in. We all wanted to be either Dan or Keith. And then you tried to figure out, okay, well, I got a shot at this, but I can't be that. And you try to emulate a style. And I think I fell into that trap too. And then after a while, you figure out who you are and who you're going to be. And I think guys are still coming in now, and gals, people are still coming in now and trying to be, hey, I want to do it like Kenny Mayne does. You know what I mean? And you can't. And after a while, you figure out, hey, this is what you're good at. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what my style is, but maybe that is my style, the sort of no style. I try to get the score right,
I had a hard time with that, of trying to figure out who I was. And it may, for the audience, it may sound foreign. They may go, well, just be yourself. It's the hardest thing because you don't really know who you are. And I was one thing when I first got there. I was very serious about it. And then all of a sudden, when Oberman came in, he said, why don't you act the way you do off the air, on the air? And as simple as it sounds, I was like, I had this epiphany where I went, oh, okay.
Right.
All right. I waited for somebody to say it's okay to have fun here. And then all of a sudden we had a little too much fun. But we were also, it got competitive with the late night Sports Center and then the earlier Sports Center, the 6 o'clock with Bob Lee and Charlie Steiner and Robin Roberts. Yeah. And then, they're comparing ratings. And now it got to be like serious stuff. And I was thinking, wow, this is a tough enough job.
Right.
Now I've got almost infighting here or competition. And management did nothing to dispel that. So it was one of those where you're going, all right, let me see. I survived 18 years, and I was lucky to survive 18. Probably should have survived like 15. But
were you in the building all 18? You didn't do any play-by-play,
no,
as I recall. So
no.
You really, even studio on the road for the big events.
I was there. Yeah, I was always there.
Right. And always at 11? Did you ever dabble at 6?
I did 6 the last 3 years.
Oh, right. You had your own show, right.
Thanks for watching.
They made it the Dan Patrick Show at 6.
Yeah.
Ratings skyrocketed.
I know. But I didn't like the 6 because I love that frenetic feel of game just ended.
No question.
I mean, there are times I tell people where you're on camera and you're doing a lead-in.
Yeah.
And you got some 23-year-old production assistant who's right over here off camera ready to hand you the shot sheet of your highlight.
Yes.
So I haven't even seen it. So it could be, hey, Bucks were in Cleveland tonight, and we got the highlights, and I would reach out with my left hand, grab it, and then turn it
around.
Right. Yeah, and then I go, okay. and you would be doing the highlights live at the time everybody's watching them.
And you're just begging. You're, in essence, praying there's not a name that you don't recognize that you can't pronounce. Right?
Hockey. We'd get the, oh, boy.
Yeah.
Nikolai Habibulin.
Yes, with a K.
Yeah, it was Nikolai Kabibulin.
Right.
I went,
exactly.
You know, so first go round, and then, you know, I have somebody who says, I should have given you, you know, the, phonetic spelling.
Right.
I'm sorry. Nikolai Kabibulin. And I think he was just called up. And I'm like, oh, this poor guy. His Sports Center moment, I called him Kabibulin.
But the beauty is everybody else thought you called him the right way because that's what they would think it was. But the show's really changed. You know what I think the biggest change is, Dan, is you're in essence allowed to root for your team openly on the air. And that's been a big change. We've become or been allowed to become more like a fan, you know, openly rooting for your team or your city.
Is this by design?
I don't know where it turned over.
I think Berman would always root for the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep. Right.
Stewart made no secret of the fact that he was rooting for North Carolina.
Right.
Van Pelt with Maryland, but then there was really nothing to root for.
And Linda with every New York team.
Linda Cohn with every New York team. I shed my allegiance when I got there.
I tried to play it straight, too. I thought that was our job, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, wait a second. I can't be the only person on the air who doesn't have a rooting interest. You know, we're not raised as impartial journalists as kids. We all come up having diehard of certain teams. But I didn't think that was my job. And now I'm like, you know what? If everybody's going to do it, then I'm, Jets, Jets. Let's go. Thank you for the Darnold thing, by the way.
You're welcome.
That done.
Yeah, I got him into camp. Yeah. How do you feel about that? That's your savior.
I'm very excited about it. Actually.
You are.
I thought that was a big win. You're not?
Well, no. I just because it's the Jets.
Oh, well, we can mess anything up.
Yes, you can. You could screw up an anvil.
I thought it fell right in our laps. That's
look at
right
you.
in the Jets' lap. Yeah.
It
never breaks the Jets' way, and I thought this time it did break the Jets' way. Darnold was I thought the first choice all along, and I saw a lot of them in college too.
Oh, that's right. You're Mr. Play-by-Play, college play-by-play. And you're doing the Broncos coming up. Fritzy's excited about that.
He's going coast to coast to a preseason game, I know.
Yeah, he's going out to watch the Broncos preseason. And so you're going to do that. Yeah, Fritzy.
I'm flying out Saturday, August 18th for the Bears at the Broncos and flying home Sunday just for preseason
and Steve will be there. All 4 preseason games that Leaves is doing with Brian Greasy. Will you have Todd in the booth?
I was saying we'll definitely get him on television. He's got some cool throwback jersey.
I told him my son's going to be wearing a Steve Atwater old school jersey, and I'm going to be wearing a 77 Carl Mecklenburg jersey.
So maybe we throw him in, a cutaway shot, going to break or something when the starters come out, something like that.
Well, he was invited by Von Miller to be in the parade on one of the floats.
Hang on, are we joking now or not?
No, I'm dead serious.
What?
And he passed.
Because
you said what? You're tied up?
Because it was going to just be me, and I felt like if I didn't have my son with me, it wouldn't be as special to just to be me on the float. And
you don't think your son would understand? Did you ask him?
I think he would have understood. At the moment, I just felt like it just wouldn't be right because we watched so many games together. We scream and yell at the TV,
right.
And I couldn't do it by myself.
I respect it.
And then he passed up on Super Bowl tickets.
Again, because I was going to just be me wandering around by myself without.
Couldn't get the man a second ticket. You couldn't get him another ticket. All your connections?
We tried.
Yeah.
I mean, I got him on the float. The actual float with Von Miller.
You have to wear his glasses?
Yeah, yes, for
Von Miller's glasses?
I do got to say one thing to this day, because I worked with Steve at WFAN almost 30 years ago in 1990, and I was just learning how to edit tape and, splice things and the things that you used to do before there was any kind of technology. And I hung Levy out to dry one Sunday night. He was very understanding about it. He saw how nervous I was because I was just getting started. WBAL was Sunday night. We carried the Sunday night baseball games, and he was, in the newsroom, and he's doing his thing, and he's getting ready to do a sportscast. And I thought what I had was the home run that just happened. We always would card up the audio of home runs or big plays, and then he would throw it. So he goes, 1-1 Orioles, Blue Jays, and the Orioles actually just made it 3-1. Here's how it sounded on WBAL. Silence. I obviously, whatever I did or didn't do, with what I thought was recorded, I didn't get a chance to listen to it back, and I was in a big rush to get it to our producer, Joan Chin. The producer is screaming. He couldn't have been more professional. He saw that, I was nervous. I thought I was my last day at FAN, and he made me feel better and let it go. But that was just a horrible moment because it's on the speakers all over the newsroom, on the ceiling, everywhere, and we're waiting to hear this call of a Ripken two-run homer that made it 3-1 in the fourth, and silence.
Paulie, you got a Levy story?
I sure do. Steve will not remember
yeah.
this. 2000, I just started working at ESPN. I was working NFL on ESPN Radio, which Steve kind of invented back at WFAN in the 90s, where you throw it to reporters at all different sites, rapid fire. So Levy was, Steve, you were filling in. I was only about 2 months into the job, and we're segment one, and you go to me, you go, we're going to go to Oakland, then we're going to go to Jacksonville, we're going to Indy, we're going to Houston and Denver. Rapid fire back around. I go, wait, what was the order again? You go, and you go, and you look at me, you go, stay with me, brother. You got to stay with me. And I was like, oh, no. But you put your arm on my shoulder, you go, stay with me, brother. Stay with me.
That's a line. Stay with me, yeah.
Steve is celebrating 25 years. Thursday night, it's must-see TV.
Come on by, Dan.
No,
Come on by.
I can't. There's just not enough room. It's you and Oberman and Kenny Mayne. How about, is there an after party?
VIP red carpet.
Yeah, what do you got in Bristol on Thursday night?
Yeah, there's not much across. Even the McDonald's is closed across the street.
It has?
Come on, you knew this, right?
I haven't been up there.
Do you know how many McDonald's close? Like, they never, ever close, right? They never go out of business. And McDonald's ever, we had all the PAs and the interns. I mean, they lived on that stuff.
Yeah,
Some of the anchors.
But we have a great cafeteria there.
Yes, we do now.
Yeah.
But they fenced in the compound there, and then you couldn't easily walk across the street.
So McDonald's closed.
See ya.
Wow.
Even with the new great quarter pounders they have. Yep.
Remember the Hall of Shame?
Yes.
The Hall of Fame bar we go to?
Yep.
Yeah, had fun there.
Kendall's
on Route 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Queen Street?
Was it
10?
Queen Street or Route 10? Or is it
I think
both?
Route 10 is
one
Queen
and the same?
Street,
Yeah.
Kendall's, yep.
Oh, man.
Good times, bro.
And we would get there, and you'd have about like 32 minutes to drink before they closed up. So you would, try to have like 3 beers in 32 minutes.
And the occasional shot, too, just to kick it off, to get it going. And it was all ESPN. Like, there'd be no regular customers. The bar would be totally empty until that moment.
It would be so sad in
Here
there.
come 30 people coming in.
I know. Well, yeah, Kendall's. And we had fun. And then they might keep it open. And then we would shut off all the lights.
Right.
And then we would have to be quiet.
Oh, we were good tippers.
We were?
We weren't?
Oh, well, you might have been because you're Steve Levy. Yeah. 25 years at the mothership. Thursday night with Keith Olbermann, Kenny Mayne, and a tribute to Steve's career will be part of the show. It's great seeing you, Leaves. Congrats.
Thanks for having me in.
Happy for you.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.